Chapter E. The First Bell. The morning was fresh, the sky a soft blue, and the gentle breeze carried the smell of new books and sharpened pencils. Somewhere in the distance, the first bell rang. Not just a sound, but a signal. It was the signal that the day was beginning, that another chance had arrived to learn that Pringieris, and to make memory. For many students, this bell is just noise. They hear it, they walk to class, and they sit down without thinking much about it. But for those who truly understand, the first bell is like a door opening to new possibilities. Imagine you are standing at the school gate. You see other students laughing, some walking quickly, some slowly. In your hands, you hold your bag. Inside it are books filled with knowledge, waiting for you to open them. The first bell is telling you, today is another opportunity. Don't waste it. Oh. Every morning, the school gives you a fresh start. Yesterday's mistakes, yesterday's laziness, even yesterday's failures. They don't have to control today. The first bell says you can try again. When I was in school, I didn't understand this at first. Sometimes I would rush in at the last minute, still sleepy, and sit down without focus. But one day something changed. A teacher told me, the first bell is not for the teacher, it's for you. It's a reminder that time doesn't wait. Once the bell rings, you are already moving forward. If you are not ready, time will leave you behind. Those words stayed with me. From that day, I started arriving a little earlier. I would reach class before the bell and open my book. When the bell rang, I felt a small excitement inside me, as if I was starting a race. But this race was against my own laziness, my own distractions. I began to notice that I understood lessons better. I asked more questions. My grades improved, but more importantly, I felt confident. The first bell can also mean something deeper. It's not just about school, it's about life. First bells, life, the start of a new day, a new week, a new year. These are all moments when we can decide to change, to start. But if we ignore them, if we keep thinking I'll try tomorrow, then slowly the bells become background noise, and the chance to grow fades away. So the next time you hear that bell, pause for a second. Take a breath. Ask yourself, am I ready to make today better than yesterday? Even if you didn't do well yesterday, even if you wasted time, you still have today. The bell is telling you, don't waste your school life. Don't waste your chance. One day, when you leave school, you will miss that sound. You will remember how it marked the beginning of a lesson, a friendship, or a small success. EP 1-2, and you will wish you had listened to it more carefully. So while you can, hear the first bell and run towards your best self. Chapter R. Friends or distractions? School life is full of faces. Every day you see classmates, you hear laughter in the hallways, and you feel the pull of friendship. Friends can make school a happy place, a place where you are supported, understood, and encouraged. But there is a big difference between true friends who help you grow and distractions that quietly steal your time. B4. Many students don't notice this difference until it's too late. When you enter school each morning, you have a choice. You can spend your time with people who inspire you, who talk about ideas, who want to succeed. Or you can spend it with people who make jokes all day, skip classes, and push you to ignore your goals. Both groups may feel fun in the moment, but only one will help you when exams come or when life gets tough. I remember a boy in my class who was smart, funny, and kind. All. But he made the mistake of sitting with friends who didn't care about school. At first, it seemed harmless. A little talking in class, some skipped homework. But slowly, his grades dropped. Hard. Teachers began to lose trust in him. By the time he realized what had happened, he had already missed too much. His friends didn't stand beside him when he needed help. They had their own lives, and he was left behind. On the other hand, I also knew a girl who had a small group of friends. They were not the loudest or the most popular, but they helped each other study. When one didn't understand something, the others explained. They reminded each other of deadlines, encouraged each other to join competitions, and celebrated each other's successes. Years later, they all did well in life. Not just because they were smart, but because they lifted each other up instead of pulling each other down. The truth is, your friends shape your future more than you think. If you spend hours with people who waste time, you will waste yours too. If you spend time with people who dream big, your own dreams will grow. This doesn't mean you have to avoid fun. Laughter and relaxation are important. But there should be balance if all your fun comes at the cost of your learning. You will regret it. Sometimes, the hardest part is recognizing when a friend is actually a distraction. They might not mean harm, but if they make it difficult for you to focus, they are still pulling you away from your goals. In those moments, you have to be brave enough to choose yourself. This doesn't mean ending the friendship completely. It means creating healthy boundaries. Spend less time in situations where you can get carried away, and more time in places that help you grow. Help you grow? In the end, the friends you choose during school can be the reason you succeed or the reason you struggle. Ask yourself, when I am with this person, do I feel motivated or do I feel lazy? That answer will tell you everything. Choose the ones who make you want to be better. Because true friends are not just people you laugh with. They are people who make sure you don't waste your school life. Chapter 10. The Secret of Good Grades. Good grades often seem like a mystery to students who struggle. They look at the top of the class and wonder, what's their secret? Are they just naturally smart? The truth is, very few students are born with extraordinary talent. Most high achievers simply know how to use their time, energy, and habits in the right way. The secret of good grades is not magic, it's strategy. The first part of the secret is consistency. Many students study only when exams are near, trying to memorize everything in a few days. This creates stress and confusion. On the other hand, students who score well study in small amounts every day. They don't try to remember the whole book at once. Instead, they review a little bit daily, which makes learning easier and faster. It's like watering a plant. A little every day keeps it alive. Luck. But pouring a whole bucket once a month won't help. The second part of the secret is active learning. Top students don't just read passively, they engage with the material. They ask questions, they explain concepts to others, and they test themselves. If they don't understand something, they don't ignore it. They find the answer. This curiosity builds deep understanding, which is far more powerful than memorizing without meaning. Another big part is time management. Students with good grades know that school life is full of distractions. Friends, sports, phones, games. They enjoy these things, but in balance. They decide when it's time to work and when it's time to relax. They avoid last-minute panic by finishing assignments early. Even 1 extra hour of focused study each week can make a huge difference over time. I remember one classmate who was never the fastest learner, but she had a method. She would write short summaries of every lesson in her own words. When exams came, she didn't have to read the whole textbook. She just revised her summaries. While others stayed up all night, she slept peacefully because she was ready. Her secret wasn't intelligence, it was preparation. Also, the best students don't try to be perfect in every subject all at once. They identify their weak areas early and focus extra attention there. If math is hard, they practice it daily. If English grammar is confusing, they review it regularly. They don't avoid difficult topics. They attack them before they become a problem. Finally, there's attitude. Students with good grades believe they can improve. They don't let one bad result define them. They use mistakes as fuel to get better. If they fail a test, they ask, "What went wrong?" and fix it. This growth mindset is what keeps them moving forward. So the secret is not a secret at all. Rank. It's a combination of consistent effort, active learning, smart time management, focused practice, and a positive attitude. Anyone can follow this. And if you start today, the next time you see your report card, you might realize that good grades were never out of your reach. You just needed the right habits to get there. Chapter Sir. The teacher's hidden advice. Sometimes in school, a teacher says something that is not part of the lesson but stays in your heart for years. These are the hidden pieces of advice, words that may not appear in any textbook. Oh, but can change how you see your life. But can change how you see your life. Every teacher has stories, wisdom, and lessons that go beyond math problems or history dates. Ike. The smart students are the ones who listen carefully, because these hidden messages often hold more value than the subject itself. So, I remember one winter morning in school. Our science teacher had finished explaining a chapter about the human heart. The class was noisy, and some students were eager to leave for the break. But before closing the book, the teacher looked at us and said, "Remember this. Life will test you more than any exam. If you learn to prepare for tests in school, you will be ready for the bigger tests outside." At that time, I didn't think much of it. But years later, when I faced my first real challenge in life, those words came back to me. Teachers often see more in us than we see in ourselves. They can tell when we are distracted, when we are not trying our best, and when we are capable of more. Sometimes their advice might feel strict or even annoying, but hidden inside is genuine care. A teacher's scolding can be a sign that they believe you can do better. If they didn't care, they would stay silent. I once had a mathematics teacher who would always say, "Don't just write the answer. Understand it." At first, it was only about solving problems. But later, I realized it was also about life. In school and in the real world, understanding why something works is more important than simply knowing what to do. This mindset made me more curious, more thoughtful, and more independent. Sometimes the advice comes in the form of a story. A history teacher once told us about her own student, Days, how she almost failed because she wasted time with the wrong friends. She didn't tell us this to entertain. She told us so we wouldn't repeat her mistake. That day, I understood that a teacher's hidden advice often comes from their own struggles. That day. The problem is, many students ignore these moments. They think, this is not in the syllabus. It won't come in the exam. But the truth is, life's most important lessons are never in the syllabus. They come when you least expect them, from people who have walked the road you are just starting. So the next time a teacher pauses during class and shares something personal, don't drift away. Listen closely. It might be a sentence that changes the way you think. A teacher's hidden advice can guide you not just to pass your exams, but to pass through life's challenges with wisdom and strength. And one day, you may find yourself repeating those same words to someone who needs them, passing the hidden advice forward. Chapter Wove. The danger of skipping classes. At first, skipping a class might feel harmless. You tell yourself, it's just one day. I can catch up later. You might even think it's exciting. Walking out of school with friends, spending time somewhere else, feeling free. But what many students don't realize is that skipping classes is not just about missing a single lesson. It's about creating a habit that can quietly damage your future. In worse, the danger begins slowly. You miss one class, then another. Soon, you start believing that you can always manage without attending. You rely on friends to tell you what happened, or on notes. You can copy later, but what you don't get is the experience of being in the class. Hearing the teacher explain, asking questions in real time, and feeling the flow of the lesson. I once knew a boy named Imran. He was bright, funny, and popular. In the beginning, he would skip only when he was tired, but over time, it became easier for him to choose hanging out over studying. Arguing. He told himself he would study before exams, but when the time came, he realized he had missed too much. The gaps in his knowledge were too wide to fill in a few days. His confidence dropped, his grades fell, and by the end of the year, he regretted. every day he had skipped. Another danger is that skipping classes sends a message to your own mind. This is not important. When you do that repeatedly, your brain stops taking school seriously. Even when you are in class, you may not focus fully because you've trained yourself to treat it casually. This mindset can spread into other areas of life: work, relationships, and responsibilities, making it harder to commit to anything. Sometimes, student skips classes while fun. Sometimes, students skip classes thinking, "This subject is boring," or "I'll never use this in real life." But subjects often connect in ways you can't see yet. A boring history lesson might improve your storytelling skills. A difficult math topic might train your brain to solve problems. Logically, skipping removes the chance to discover these hidden benefits. There is also the matter of trust. Teachers notice who attends regularly and who doesn't. When you are present, they see your effort, and they are more likely to help you when you need it. When you skip often, even a genuine reason for absence may be doubted. Because you've built a reputation for avoiding class. Most importantly, skipping class steals time you can never get back. School is not forever. The lessons, the friendships, and even the little moments, they will all be gone one day. When you skip, you miss a piece of that short journey. Years later, you might remember the freedom you felt walking away, but you will also remember the opportunities you lost. So, if you ever feel tempted to skip, pause and think, "Gone. Is this moment of fun worth the gap it will leave in my learning?" The truth is, the thrill of skipping lasts for hours, but the regret of missing out can last for years. Protect your school life. Attend, learn, and make the most of every class, because once it's gone, it never comes back. Chapter Lu. Finding your talent. School is more than a place for textbooks and exams. It is a place full of opportunities to discover who you really are. Many students think that talent is only about getting the highest marks or being the best in sports. But the truth is, talent can appear in many forms. It might be your ability to solve problems quickly, to tell stories that inspire, to lead a group, to paint, to sing, or even to listen and help others. But the challenge is to recognize it before your school life ends. Often, students spend so much time comparing themselves to others that they forget to notice their own strengths. You might see someone winning a science competition and think, "I'm not that smart." Or watch a friend score the winning goal and think, "I'm not that athletic." But talent is not always about being number one. It's about finding something you enjoy so much that you want to keep improving at it. School gives you many chances to explore: clubs, competitions, group projects, presentations, and events. Every time you try something new, you learn more about yourself. Or maybe you join the debate team and discover you're good at public speaking. Maybe you help organize a school event and realize you're a natural leader. These moments can open doors to your future career and personal growth. I remember a quiet classmate who hardly spoke during lessons. One day, the art teacher asked him to draw something for a school project. When he presented his work, everyone was amazed. His drawing looked like it belonged in a professional gallery. That was the moment he realized his talent. Before that, he thought he was just an average student. But now he had something he could build his future on. Finding your talent requires curiosity and courage. Curiosity pushes you to try different activities, and courage helps you step out of your comfort zone. You might fail at first, but failure is not proof you lack talent. It is part of the process of discovering it. The important thing is to start now. Don't wait until after school to figure out what you are good at. Experiment, participate, and notice what makes you feel alive. Once you find your talent, nurture it. Practice, improve, and share it with others. Because your true talent is not just a gift, it is a tool that can help you build the life you dream of, starting right here in your school days. Chapter Chi: Why Homework Matters. For many students, the word homework feels heavy. After spending hours in school, the idea of sitting down again to study at home can feel boring, exhausting, or even pointless. It's easy to think, I already learned this in class. Why do I have to do it again? But the truth is, homework is not just a way for teachers to keep you busy. It is a bridge between learning and mastery, between understanding something in theory and truly making it your own. When you learn something in class, your brain receives new information. But like a photograph that is still developing, it needs time and exposure to become clear. If you don't review it, the details fade quickly. Homework gives you that extra time to process the lesson. It's the difference between hearing a song once and being able to sing it perfectly. Repetition is what turns knowledge into skill. I remember a time when I used to see homework as a burden. I would often rush through it just to get it done. My answers were short, my handwriting messy, and I didn't check my mistakes. But during one exam, I realized how much I had forgotten because I never really paid attention to my homework. After that, I changed my approach. Instead of doing it just to finish, I began to see it as personal practice, a chance to improve without pressure. Soon, I noticed that lessons felt easier, my confidence grew, and my grades improved. One big reason homework matters is independent learning. In class, you have a teacher guiding you, answering questions, and explaining things step by step. At home, it's just you and your books. That's when you truly test yourself. Can you solve the problems without help? Can you explain the lesson to yourself? This independence prepares you not just for exams, but for life, where you won't always have someone to guide you. Homework also teaches discipline and time management. Life is full of tasks that must be done even when you don't feel like doing them. When you make a habit of completing your homework on time, you're building self-control. You learn how to plan your evening, how to avoid wasting time, and how to finish what you start. These are skills that go far beyond school. They are skills that successful people use every day. Another important point is that homework gives teachers feedback. When they check your work, they can see what you understand and where you're struggling. Without homework, a teacher might think you understand everything, only to find out during the exam that you didn't. Homework is like a signal to your teacher, helping them adjust their teaching to help you better. But some students believe homework kills creativity because it leaves no free time. But the truth is, good homework builds creativity by making you think deeper. An essay makes you organize your thoughts. A science project pushes you to research and experiment. Even solving a tricky math problem can be a creative process. Finding different ways to get to the answer. Let's not forget another hidden benefit: confidence. Imagine walking into an exam already familiar with every type of question, because you've done them before in homework. You don't panic, you don't guess, you answer with certainty. That confidence is priceless, and it comes from consistent practice. I once had a friend who was naturally intelligent, but never did his homework. He relied on class lessons alone. In the beginning, it worked. He still scored well in small tests. But as the subjects became more complex, he began to struggle. The habit of avoiding homework had left such large gaps in his learning that even extra tutoring couldn't completely fix it. He often said, "I wish I had taken homework seriously from the start." Homework might seem like a small thing in your daily life, but over time, it builds a strong foundation. Just like bricks make a wall, each assignment strengthens your knowledge, skill, and discipline. You may not see the results instantly, but when you look back after months or years, you will realize how much it shaped your success. So, the next time you sit down with your homework, don't see it as a punishment. See it as a personal investment in your future. Give it your full attention. Ask questions if you're stuck, and use it as a tool to become better every single day. Because those small pages you complete today could be the reason you achieve something big tomorrow. Chapter Ba. Small efforts, big results. In school, it's easy to think that success only comes from big actions. Studying for hours without a break, working on massive projects, or doing something extraordinary. But in reality, the most powerful results often come from small, consistent efforts. Just like a plant grows from tiny drops of water, your skills and knowledge grow from small steps taken every day. And Sedis. Many students wait for the right time to work hard. They think, "I'll start before exams," or "I'll focus next year." But the truth is, success is built in the small moments between now and then. Spending 10 minutes reviewing your notes every day might not feel like much, but after a month, you've revised the whole book without stress. I once knew a girl who struggled in English. She didn't try to learn 8 new words in a week. Instead, she focused on just 3 words a day. She would write them, use them in sentences, and say them out loud. At first, it seemed slow, but within a year, her vocabulary had grown so much that she spoke with confidence. Her secret wasn't working harder than everyone else. It was working a little bit, every day without fail. Small efforts also. When you keep promises to yourself, even small ones, you build trust in your own abilities. This trust gives you confidence to take on bigger challenges. So, don't underestimate the power of small actions. Reading a single page, solving one extra problem, practicing one skill for a few minutes. These small efforts might seem invisible now, but they are quietly shaping your future. One day, you'll look back and realize those tiny steps were the reason for your big success. If this story inspired you, take action today. Start with just one small step. Read one page, solve one problem, or learn one new word. Then tell me in the comments what your first step will be. Like this video, to remind yourself that small daily actions can create big success, and subscribe so we can keep growing together, one step at a time.